Instagram 101. This is going to be aimed at a more beginner level setup, but we are going to explore a lot about hashtags and how you choose them and why they're important to Instagram. So we will get a little bit deeper past the 101 because quite honestly, the setup is pretty quick. And we will spend some of this webinar looking at my cell phone too. So we'll switch the screen from my browser to the cell phone. So let me just make sure that there aren't any questions before we get going. All right, so I'm gonna pop this up and make sure that you can see my screen, and we're gonna get started. All right, so Instagram 101, we are going to cover everything from setting up your account and making sure that all the settings are set, as well as creating content and creating hashtags, going live, doing stories, just about everything that you can do with Instagram. Hopefully we're going to cover today without getting too deep into strategy. So we'll talk first about why Instagram and just some high level strategy, nothing too deep, something that can just be applied to anybody's industry. And then as I mentioned, we'll go through setting up the account, filling out your bio and settings, finding followers, posting stories and live videos, creating images for Instagram, and then also how you can make sure that you're on a business profile. A lot of folks sign up for the personal, don't switch to the business, and there are other opportunities on Instagram as a business account. And once we are in business, I'll show you the analytics side of Instagram. So just a little bit about me. My name's Kate Evans, and I'm the owner of Your Social Status. We're based in Centerville, Ohio. I know we've got some people outside of Ohio sign up for the webinar today, but we work with companies locally and nationwide. That's kind of one of the perks of being a digital marketing boutique. We do social media, internet marketing, and website development. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and have worked with some larger companies and apply their strategies and big budget marketing campaigns and ideas to small businesses that we work with. Quickly, before we dive too deep into Instagram, I did want to bring up a few trainings that we have coming up. The next one is Messenger Marketing, and it's actually this Thursday. It'll be taught by a Messenger Marketing Pro, Beth Pressure. If you are from the Dayton area, you may have heard of her. She used to own the Roaming Boutique. It was a digital boutique, and she has now turned her expertise towards messenger marketing, building list relationships and revenue, and just really teaching retail and B2C businesses how to market. So she'll be teaching that Thursday via webinar, and that'll be from 9 to 11. It'll be a 2-hour webinar. And then we've got Intro to Search Engine Optimization, and that'll be coming up from 9 to 11. And you know what, that date is wrong, so I'll change that. That is May 6th. And then we've got Social Media Content Creation, the Holiday Edition, and that's May 12th from 9:30 to 11, and that's a free class. And that'll be really fun because we'll be giving you a full pack of holiday images, as well as kind of helping you plan for the holidays. And I know that May seems early to be thinking about the holidays, but it's really not, especially when you're trying to, you know, come up with a full social media and digital marketing strategy over the busy months in the fall and winter. And then May 19th and 20th, it's a 2-day build your own WordPress website that I'll be hosting. It'll be 9:30 to 2:30 both days. And it's going to be full blown from, you know, scratch. We're going to show you how to register your domain name, how to set up hosting, and how to build your own WordPress website. This is beginner level. And this class does include an hour working with me one-on-one to help you finish up your website or answer any questions that you might have or make changes to your site, whatever it might be. And it includes an hour outside of the class where I'll work with you. And then May 21st, I'm really excited because we are hosting an Outlook and time management class, and the teacher will be my dad, Bill. He has quite a few years experience in management, and he is the CIO for a local property management company, and I would say he is an Microsoft Office master, as well as a Covey enthusiast. So he'll kind of mesh those two worlds of Stephen Covey and his habits, as well as utilizing your time and Outlook, because we know that email and meetings can be a huge time sink. So he's going to take some time from 9 to 1:30 on May 21st through a webinar to walk you through that. And it's going to be a really great class. I'm excited to take it. And then lastly, May 27th, we've got Google AdWords 101. So that'll be starting some AdWords campaigns for Google. If you're interested in finding out how to get started in that, we'll be having that class. So enough of that. We hope that you'll join us, but let's get into Instagram here. So one quote that I absolutely love and that applies to Instagram comes from Seth Godin. He is the author of This Is Marketing, and he is a pretty well-known speaker and author. And he says, marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but about the stories you tell. And, you know, so many times when we ask people and work with other clients of ours, they're just really concerned about, you know, how do I create content? How often should I be posting it? What do I even say? And they get all concerned about, you know, they just want to sell. And that's why most of us come to social media ultimately, is that we're looking to sell. But as many of you may know, it's quickly changed to, even though we're using technology and further distancing ourselves from people, they're still craving that interaction, that human interaction and that relationship. And something like Instagram Live or Facebook Live gives us the opportunity to connect with our customers on a face-to-face, one-on-one level, which is not an opportunity that we used to have as businesses trying to market. So if you think about your strategy as a story about your brand or who you are or what your product does, what problem do you solve, then you'll connect with your audience. So Instagram right now, the latest 2020 statistic has 1 billion monthly users. And of those 1 billion monthly users, 500 million are logging on daily. Now, those are some pretty big numbers, and this is in the US. This is not, I'm sorry, this is in the world. But when we think about who we market to, you see how many opportunities we have on a daily basis to reach these people. So I was getting ahead of myself with the US. Of US businesses, 71% are using Instagram for business. And their Instagram's target market is approximately 35 and under. So just to kind of give you some information of demographic information of, you know, still not every business is on Instagram, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Instagram isn't the right fit for everyone, because you still need to make sure that the user that you're looking for falls into this platform. So when we look at an overall Instagram strategy, we look at 4 main things. So now I'm talking about the actual functionality of Instagram, not your marketing campaign or high-level strategy, but how are we going to apply our strategy to things that Instagram has to offer. The first being the bio. So what I like to say, Sorry about that, I had to open a door. What I like to say is that the bio section of your Instagram account is like the real estate. It's going to be the first place that people see if they're actually visiting your profile page. So utilize that real estate that Instagram gives you to point your followers in the right direction. And many of us will typically just fill out the bio and be done with it versus really trying to create this lead capture area almost, where it's inviting, it's engaging, we're telling people exactly what we want them to do. And I'm going to show you a couple examples here soon of people that are really utilizing the bio space well. And I would advise you to explore Instagram a little bit, find your competitors or find people that you know, are similar to your industry, and see if you can't not copy, but be inspired by what they have and what they have set up, or do it better. The next thing that we're going to talk about with regards to the Instagram strategy is the content. So put some thought and strategy into the type of images, text, videos, hashtags, etc. that you'll be using. So we still want to keep in mind that when we're creating content, make sure that you're creating content for each platform. A lot of times people will create one post for and spread it across all platforms. But what we want to do is make sure that we're creating images that are properly sized for Instagram, that have supporting text and hashtags that speak to the people on Instagram. And even though you might have the same common theme across all platforms, we want to make sure that we're crafting the message to fit that platform, i.e. in Twitter, we want to make sure that we're keeping the characters at a certain amount of characters. So we're not going to be able to have that same message that we might put out on Facebook, and the image sizes are going to be different as well. So when you're looking at your content, make sure that you're putting some thought behind what you're putting up there versus just auto sharing the same post across all platforms. The next thing that we want to look at is engagement. So Instagram offers us features like live and stories to help us find new followers and then, of course, engage with our current audience. So the live feature is something that people just need to get used to using. It is a little bit on the spot. You're going to have mistakes. You're going to catch a bad angle of yourself. I did a live video this morning on our Instagram before we got started with the webinar today, and it was a little bit of a mess too, and I've been doing this for a while. So you're just going to have days where you just need to practice and you need to get on often. And we'll cover shortly a little bit more about live, but there are some really huge benefits to going live and posting stories on your Instagram page. So we'll cover that later on. And then the fourth piece of the Instagram strategy that I want you to keep in mind is hashtags. Hashtags are extremely important on Instagram. And it's something that I like to say it's even the backbone of Instagram, especially with the changes that they're making to their Discover section, which I will show you shortly. But pretty much it's the way that people are going to find you. Because unless somebody is specifically told to go to your profile, if you say, hey, make sure that you follow me at your social status on Instagram, and they're directly going there, typically people aren't going to just search for social media agency on Instagram. They're going to come across you because of certain interests they have, which is where the hashtags come in. So hashtags will really increase your findability on Instagram. So are we ready to get started with Instagram 101? I'm going to switch screens here and make sure my phone is plugged in so you all can see my phone screen, and we'll get started with Instagram. And actually, I guess I will do one other thing quickly. Before we explore setting up Instagram, there's one thing that I do want to show you because I'm not going to go through the actual registration process, but I will go through the entire setup process. So if you have not used Instagram yet and you don't have an account, you can just go to Instagram.com and I'm sorry, you cannot just go to Instagram.com. Although they are improving their browser version of Instagram, it is truly a mobile app, and it's best used that way. So even as early as last week, they added new features and gave you the ability to answer messages through the online browser on your desktop. But you can already do that with Facebook if you've connected your Facebook and Instagram, or you can just as easily do it through your cell phone. So I want to make sure that you know that you don't just go to Instagram.com like you would for Facebook or other social media platforms. This is more of a mobile app. All right, so I'm going to share my phone now, and I'll just double check and make sure that we don't have any questions. And please feel free to interrupt me at any time. You can turn on your microphone or you can type into the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, so. All right, you should be able to see my phone screen now. And I organize my apps by use. So there is a little, it might look like a lot of apps. So don't get overwhelmed, but I actually put Instagram in my photography section. But anyway, all right, so Instagram. One thing that I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to sign out quickly because I wanna show you what it looks like on your cell phone just when you're getting started. So let me get logged out here. Yeah, log out. Oh, come on, keep logging out. I've got quite a few different accounts on this phone, so I've got to log out of multiple accounts at once here. Log out of all. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll just hit, when you go to the Instagram app, you can, it should look like this, and you can either log in with your Facebook or you can sign up separately. It's super easy. I actually recommend that you log in with your Facebook. And if you see the screen just switched because it pulled up access from my Facebook app on my cell phone. So it knows me well, and I rarely log out of Instagram. But the benefit of signing up with Instagram for a personal account first is that you can connect it to your Facebook page. So if you have a business Facebook page that you are, it's connected through your personal Facebook, and you'd like to create a business Instagram account, go ahead and sign up for Instagram using the Facebook button, and then you can actually create a new account once you're signed into your personal account. So I'll show you how to create that new account once I get signed in here. All right, so I'm going to switch to my business page here, hopefully. Okay, so, oh, come on. There we go. All right, so I'm on my business page, and if I switch back to my personal, what I'll show you is, right now, I've just got a couple posts here. I'm actually not super active on Instagram in my personal life. It's just an age thing, and I'm right at that. I'm at 35. I'm right at the edge of that demographic. So I don't really use it much for personal, but I am connected, and I've got everything connected here. So let's say that you've signed up for, through Facebook, you've signed up for your account. So what you'll do is you'll fill out your personal profile. I'm not going to spend much time on this because this is just for you. It's something that, you just fill out however much or little information as you want. But now we're going to talk about, okay, let's create and fill out our business, because that's why we're all here, right? So what you're going to do is hit what we call the Hamburger Menu. It's the 3 lines in the top right of the app. That's your menu. Okay. So we've got some pretty basics: setting, open Facebook so it's all connected, your friends, you can find people, see your activity in your archive. So what we're going to do is hit settings, and then you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Now there's two things that I want to point out here. If you have already signed up for a business account, but you have not made it officially business on Instagram, you'll see that blue button that says switch to, sorry about that, that says switch to professional account. Okay, I'm not going to click it all the way, but I'm highlighting it on my screen. So what I mean by this is if you signed up for Instagram as your business name, so if I didn't have a personal profile and I just signed up as your social status, but I haven't made it a business account, then I would see this button here, which is why I'm seeing it in my personal, because I haven't made it professional. So if you want to make if you already have an Instagram set up and you're trying to get it over to a business Instagram, you'll just click on switch to professional account. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. However, if we're going to talk about creating a new business, so you've signed up for Instagram, connected it to your Facebook, it's all your personal, just like mine is right now. Okay, I'm on my personal page. Then what you'll do is go to settings, scroll to the bottom and click add account. And from here, you can either log into another account if you've already created your business account and you just want to connect the two with one single login, or you can click create new account. Here's where you'll be able to create your username. So for today's, the purpose of today, I'll just create YSS training, let's say, for your social status training. And I got the green check mark, which means that my username is available and it fits the username guidelines. So I'm going to hit next. All right. So what this is going to allow me to do is log in via my personal account, which I want. It's just easier. You're always logged in and it's easy to switch between accounts. So I'm going to hit complete sign up. And just like many other social media platforms, if you've attended any of the other free webinars that I've offered, I talk a lot about tutorials or the platform steps you through. This is the same way. They're going to step you through absolutely everything you need to know to just get up and running. But then we'll also go through some of the settings. So you would add a profile photo, which please make sure that it's properly sized and just test a few to see how it looks in this circle. I did offer a Canva webinar a couple of weeks ago, but if you're not familiar, canva.com, canva.com is, they have a free photo editing, like a mini version of Photoshop that you can go in and they have properly sized images. So you could actually hit create a profile photo for Instagram and upload your logo, size it properly, save it to your phone. There's the key. Save it to your phone, your cell phone, and make sure it's on your phone. And that's what is somewhat of a pain for some businesses, is that because this is a phone-based app, you want to make sure that you've got the images on your phone, or make sure that you're using a posting tool like Hootsuite or Buffer that allows you to post to Instagram from your desktop, but that's a whole different webinar. So you'd add your profile photo. For right now, I don't think I have any, well, I guess we could import from Facebook. That's fine. Continue, open. It's just going to add my profile picture, but no big deal. All right, so you can either upload from your phone or you can share from Facebook. For the sake of today's training, I'm just connecting it to Facebook. Then you can save your login info. I'm going to actually skip this for now because I will delete this account later. All right, so now what it's doing, if you see it says loading, it's actually searching for connections through either my phone, like my phone book, or through other accounts that I follow or that are connected to my personal Instagram. So it's going to suggest people for you to follow based on your connections. So I'm going to hit skip for now because I want to show you how to find people. So here's the next piece. Find people to follow. Will you allow access to your contacts? So there's mixed reviews about this. Some people don't want to allow access to their phones. Some people do. A lot of apps do it, and you agree to it without even reading it. So at least they're being upfront here with the setup process. But the main idea is that it'll make it easier for you to connect with people that are in your phone book on your cell phone. So what I'm actually going to do though is show you, because let's pretend that this is a brand page here. I'm going to show you how to find people. So I just clicked on the little magnifying glass in the bottom left next to the house. So this is your Instagram search. They used to call it Discover. They've changed that a little bit in the past couple months. But this is where all of your hashtags are going to come into play based on who you're looking for. So if in the search box, there's a couple different ways that you can search. You can search by hashtag or by the person's name or the company's name. And remember, we're just looking for people to follow. So if I were looking for competitors, right, to like stay in touch or keep up or just keep an eye on, I might type digital marketing agency, if I could spell, all right, and hit search. So now what I'll be able to do is filter the search results by top accounts, top results, accounts. So if I want to find just the accounts versus posts, if I want to look through tags, so all the hashtags that have used digital marketing agency in some way, or places. So if there's a place called digital marketing agency, it'll find it up here. So top just kind of filters out, it's a mishmash of everything, of all the search results, but then you can filter by, hey, only show me accounts, only show me hashtags, because sometimes it's really great to follow a hashtag. So all I had to do, and I'll go back and show you, is just click on that hashtag and then click follow. So now by doing that, if I hit my home button here, and it might not show it quite yet because I'm not following much. What'll happen is this is kind of like my newsfeed area. And so as I start following more and more hashtags or accounts, it'll start showing posts with those hashtags in my newsfeed. So I might even type marketing agency and go to accounts, and let's just see what comes up. And so I'll follow them. So as I start following people, my home will be populated with different accounts. Okay, so that's the Discover search area. So that's how you can start finding people that you don't know, but maybe want to follow people that are in your industry or have the same interests. You can also use up here, if you see me scrolling, there's some already set categories over here that have all these different posts in a Pinterest-like layout that have the tags. Okay, so there's all different things that you can do. All right, so now let's go back to home. So as you can see, now that I refreshed, you just kind of pull down to refresh, just like a lot of other apps. You'll see that this web KET that I followed has posted a story. So they're showing up here in my stories section. So I can click on that and see their story. All right, and I can just swipe away to get rid of that. All right, so now I've found some people to follow through the search section. And like I said earlier, you can also find people to follow through your phone book, through Facebook, or anything else that you connect. But now what I'm clicking on is my picture in the bottom right here. So from the home button, I'm going all the way to the right to my profile picture and clicking that. This is going to take you to the profile page that visitors will see to you. And that's a great question. I just saw it pop up that Linda asked. She asked, does Instagram allow you to change your profile name if you choose to switch to a professional account? So when you go in here, in short, yes, you're able to change your profile name pretty much at any point, depending. What they do is they put a time limit on it, so you can't constantly change it day after day. But yes, you're able to switch to a professional account and change your name. And that's a common issue with entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people who maybe have built a following through their personal profile, but maybe want to add something on. We see that a lot with realtors that we work with. So you're able to switch it over and then change your name once you've changed the account. Great question. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to switch to my professional profile just to show you a little bit more of what's filled out, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So there's a few different options that you have. I spoke to you earlier about this bio area being extremely valuable, and you want to make sure that you get as much information as possible in here. So if you look, I've got social media marketing, marketing agency. I've got some icons here, creating awareness with hashtag social media marketing, hashtag internet marketing. So I'm giving our 3 basic services right here in the bio. So not necessarily all of our services, but our top 3 big ones. I want to make sure that I've created a hashtag in my bio so that my account will start to show up when people are searching in this area. Okay. So remember, if we type something in, and I can even type, not that I'm going to come up because there's a lot with this, but if I type hashtag social media, it's got to be all together, social media agency. All right, so in this search area, if I switch to accounts, it's now going to show me first the accounts that are named social media agency, because that's the most relevant. But as we start to scroll through, you'll find other accounts that might have the tag in their bio as well. Now, these accounts are ordered by popularity, engagement, number of followers. So similar to search engine rankings, that's how people are going to show up here. Based on if you're putting in the work and you're getting a lot of engagement, you have a lot of followers, then you're going to change the rank in the search results here. All right, so I'm going to pop back to my bio. So this is one way that a bio could look. It's not the only way. It's not the best way. I do want to pull up an account that I think is just killing it on Instagram. And they're based out of Dayton. It's Dayton Microblading. And they're just an overall great account to follow, even if it's not even close to your industry. They post a lot of engaging things. They have some great ideas. They've got a great layout. So hop over to Dayton Microblading and just see what it looks like. And they actually, of course, they changed it up a little bit on me, their bio. Their bio used to be super organized and laid out. But as you can see, they list absolutely everything that they do. They use their hashtags and emojis, the arrow pointing right to their site, and they've got everything filled out. The other thing that you should look at are what they're called their story archive covers. That's hard to say quickly. There's Instagram story archive cover photos. So they went with a nice uniform look that I really love, and they've actually had stories for all of these different categories. That's how often they post a story to Instagram. And if you scroll through, you'll see that they're utilizing Instagram TV, which is IGTV, which could be a whole nother webinar. But that is, you can you can connect your Instagram account to IGTV and post longer videos with different options. They do a lot of before and after and nice close-up shots telling you exactly what they're doing in these photos, and just really answer a lot of questions that their clients might have while keeping it really personal. So I know this isn't everybody's industry, but it's a really great account to just take a look at and see, what are they doing? Why are people following them? What is, if you look, they've got over 5,000 followers, I believe. If we go back to their page here. Yeah, almost 6,000 followers, and under 1,000 posts in the life of their account. So they just do a really great job. So somebody that I just wanted to shout out quickly. The other thing that I am not necessarily using on my profile that I wanted to share is, if you look underneath the follow button, they've got message, contact, book. And so you're able to get in touch with them immediately right through the click of a button, which, if you don't know much about Instagram, Instagram does not allow you to post links. So it's truly a place where you need to utilize this bio space, because that's the only place that you're going to be posting links, unless you're a qualified retailer, but we could talk about that another time. So those are the accounts that have set up a retail site and can share shoppable posts on Instagram, but still we're not posting links here. The other thing that I wanted to show you that I just did is, to the right of the message, contact, book buttons, there's a little down arrow. And what this does is this pulls up suggested accounts based on the account that you're viewing here. So it's just a nice way to kind of find other people that may be connected to the account that you're looking at, or maybe connected to, let's say, Dayton or Ohio, or, be similar accounts. And so Instagram is constantly taking a look at your activity, analyzing it, and suggesting things to kind of get you the best experience that they can on Instagram. All right, so if we hop back here, one thing I want to do is show you how to even set up your profile. So if we hit the home button, all right, this is where you start. You've followed some people, you start to see now some different posts on Instagram from the people that you follow here. All right, so this is your newsfeed area, the home button, much like Facebook, where you can scroll through. But now if you hit on your profile photo on the right-hand side here at the bottom menu, this is where you can hit edit profile. You can change your photo. You can change the name that you put here. So the name doesn't have to be your name. It doesn't have to be your company name. I chose to put social media marketing here because of how it looks on my profile. It's nice and bold. It's right there, and it tells people our main service. You don't have to do it that way, but it's just what I chose to do versus typing your social status again. And if this will load, come on, internet. Let's try this again. Okay, so then we've got our username here. And this is something that was a question earlier. So they really just put a time limit on changing your name, but not necessarily that you won't be allowed if you switch it to a professional account. And I just saw a question come across from Christy, and she asked, do you recommend that your photo or logo be the profile picture? And that really depends on your business and how you want to look on social media. So if it's really up to you. If you've got a let's see, so you say, she also asked a follow-up question, do you recommend your name being your personal name or your business name? So for example, Christy is an interior decorator. And so if she's setting up her Instagram account and you've just gone by your name versus Dayton Interior Decorating, for example, let's just say, and you don't necessarily have like a logo, it's not a bad thing if you don't post your logo as your profile photo. One thing that I would recommend, though, is that you make sure that people can identify what you do or who you are. by your profile picture, because when you post, and I'll kind of switch the screen here. So when you post, if you see as I'm scrolling, everybody's going to see your username and your profile photo along with whatever picture or video that you're posting. It is quite small, so sometimes it's hard to see, but here's a great example. VW, I know exactly, that's an iconic logo, so everybody knows what it is. So just consider, Christy, as you set up your account, how visible is it? Are people going to be able to look at your username and tell what you do? And if they are, then maybe post a picture of one of your designs, of a finished project, let's say, from your interior decorating. Because if your username tells people what you are, then why not showcase your work in your profile photo? So again, it comes down to a case-by-case basis, but that's a great question, and there's really no definitive answer. It just depends on who you are. And yes, you can change your username at any time. It's just you can't change it multiple times within a week. They do put a time limit on it, and that's just to prevent spam. What a lot of accounts will do is buy users, grow their following to maybe like 10,000 people, and then change their entire directive or sell their account to somebody else in hopes of, hey, if you buy my account with 10,000 users for $2,000, you'll have this whole audience here to run your business. So that's why they put some limits on changing your username at any time. But yes, you are able to change it. Great questions. So if we hop back over to the profile, we're in the edit profile section. They will step you through your name, username, and to make sure your website's in there, your bio. So you can put little icons in your bio. You don't have to. I just did that to kind of stand out a little bit. You could put a different website in your bio. So if we hop back to, I'm going to show you an account that we set up recently. It's called Skincare Lounge. And as long as she hasn't changed it, you'll see. Okay, so what we did here on Skincare Lounge is we kind of made it real plain and simple. So when I helped her set this account up, it was, what are your top services? And let's make those stand out with these little diamond shapes. Her main thing is to get bookings, right? So we said book now right here with the arrow, or we just said book with the arrow, and directly to her website. So it's something that as you're filling out your bio, you don't necessarily have to do what we did for her account because it might not apply, but it's a really cool way to kind of lay it out. So don't necessarily just think that you have to be plain and simple. You can have some fun with it. And that's where your research of other accounts will come into. So now if we look down here, we'll see public business information because I've already made this I've switched from a personal to a business account in here. So you can go through, you can change your category and you can search for other categories. So if I wanted to change this to digital marketing, well, as I'm typing, I see that nothing comes up. So that's why I went with marketing agency. Okay, so there's different options based on your industry that you can come through. The other thing that I want to show you, and I did a quick video on this on my Facebook, Your Social Status Facebook page, is in the wake of COVID-19, Instagram has made some changes in hopes of making it easier for small businesses. So they've added action buttons. So if you come in, if you remember, we're in the edit profile section and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, we're going to look at action buttons, and you're able to add gift cards. If you've got a third-party gift card service, you can order food, or you can donate and have a donate link for Facebook fundraising, like a GoFundMe or something like that. So you are able to add action buttons, and if you hop over to, I won't watch it now, but if you hop over to my Your Social Status page, you'll see that I go in a little bit more detail about those buttons. You also have profile display buttons. So I've got display contact info turned on where they can click call or email when they're viewing my page. And it's just an easier way for people to get in touch with me. So I'm going to hit done here. And I'm going to now move into content because I want to make sure we get through all of this. So quickly before we move on, we've got one more question from Christy that says, do you think your username should be something you do? And again, this is kind of based on your current setup. So if you're in the position like Christy is, where she's an interior decorator, but let's say you're not necessarily with like a large company or have your own company and you're known by your name, I would suggest that you put something that describes what you do. And that doesn't necessarily mean you can't use your name. So here's an example of what we do for realtors. This is my sister-in-law, and I run her Instagram account we just started. So she has her name, Jenny Weinberg, and then real estate. Or we've seen people, so that's her username, but then down here we put Jenny Weinberg Realtor with the hashtags, and then we tagged her broker here too. So there's different ways that you can do like a combo of your name, or you could do like interior decorating by Christy or something like that, where it's not necessarily a brand that you've created, but it's a way to identify who you are and what you do. So hopefully that helps. So if we head back here, I want to make sure that we look at, we filled out our bio, and now we're ready to create our first post. Okay, so what we're going to do is click this plus sign down here. And I've got some videos saved. So this was for an insurance agency. So you'll see I've got a lot of stuff on my phone. This is pulling from my library here. You can also take a brand new photo. So if I hit photo, it'll pop over and there's my screen in my office. So I could take a picture. I could also record a video. All right, so those are your three options. And one thing to think about is when you're posting, you want to make sure that your image is properly sized. And let me find one that's not properly sized. Okay, so here's like some cookies that we made the other day. That's actually a video. That's not a good one. Sorry. Let me find one that's not a video. So here, my son's haircut. So it's not properly sized here, as you can see. So I'd have to actually like move around the image, or I could hit this where it makes it smaller. Whereas this up here was properly sized already, so there's no zoom or missing out on the photo. You'll also see these three buttons here. It said this one is for boomerang, if you've got a boomerang option, which I've got the app on my phone, so I could actually take like there's my glasses sitting there. I could take like a video like this, and it's just a video on loop that's kind of fun that you can share to Instagram if you've got boomerang. But I'll actually hop back over to my Instagram. You can also create a collage. So if you have the Layouts app on your phone, I could create a collage picture, let's say, if I wanted to. Or this is your multiples. So if you wanted to share multiple photos, like this, let's say, I could, and I would just hit next, and then I would have the two photos that people can scroll through. Okay, so I'm gonna hit back, uncheck multiple, and just go to my properly sized image and hit next. And then this is where the filters come in. This is kind of what made Instagram really popular at first, was the filters option. So if you don't like how your image looks, you can apply a filter. You can also edit on your own if you want, and then hit next. And here's where you're gonna write your caption. So this is something that you wanna keep short and sweet, but explain whatever it is that you're sharing. This is a training webinar post. And then if you look on my phone, I'm actually gonna hit the 1, 2, 3 button down in the bottom. And that gives me the enter key or the return. So I'm gonna hit return a couple times, hit my ABC again, And then I've got my hashtag here where I can start with, you know, Dayton social media training, whatever it might be. Okay, so make sure that you're picking hashtags that make sense, that that relate to your business, and you can do up to 30 hashtags. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look, but I uploaded a file earlier, and it's called YSS Instagram Infographic, and it's how to gain more followers using hashtags. And one of the tips is to use as many hashtags, up to 30, that make sense and are relevant to your post and your business. So you don't want to use the same hashtags every single time. And you just want to make sure that the hashtags that you are using are relevant to your business, and not just to get likes. And as you start typing, if you see, if I type, let's say Instagram, you'll see suggestions that come up, and it's going to show you how many posts that hashtag was used in. And contrary to popular belief, you actually don't always want to pick the one with the most posts, because it's going to get lost in that sea of hashtags. You know, so if I did hashtag Instagram, my post is going to get lost in 450 million other posts. So you don't always, it's okay to be a little bit more specific with your hashtags, because there might be somebody out there looking for something specific. So I'll do Instagram training if I can type. All right, so let's say that I was done with my hashtags for now. I'm gonna hit OK. So I've got my caption, right? Got my image. If I wanted to tag people, I could tag people I follow. If I also wanted to, which is great, is you can actually collaborate with a business partner. So if I wanted to, I could type another profile in that's like maybe a complimentary service to mine and tag them. I can add my location, which I always, always, always recommend, and I'm actually going to pick my business. All right. And then you've got the option to post it to your Facebook account as well. I typically don't recommend this unless it's a story, or it's something that makes sense and is worded for both Facebook and Instagram, but it is a nice option to have. So then I would hit share, and it's going to share directly to my Your Social Status account. And then if I click my profile photo, there it is right there. If I want to delete it, you just hit the 3 buttons in the top right of the post, and then I can hit delete. So I want to make sure that we stay on track for time too, and I want to answer the other question that came through. Christy was asking, will you email what we're doing to go back through? And yes, you'll get the recording, the slides that I showed you, and that infographic. So I'll make sure that I send out an email. So if you do have to hop off the call at any time, no worries, we're recording this and you'll get a copy of the recording. So if we head back to the profile, now we're going to look at what everybody's talking about, going live in stories. And it's actually a lot easier than what some people might think. So if there's 2 things I want to talk about with stories. First is creating a story, and then second would be creating these archives here. Okay, so you have to create a story first to then be able to archive it, thus the name archive. So you'll want to get creating stories, and then as you go through them, you'll want to assign them to a category here. And what's cool is as you get more and more, people can come and click on your archive and see every story that's ever been archived to that particular category. And then it'll autoplay through your archives. So it's a really kind of neat way to organize your stories. So if we want to add a story, I've already got one playing here that I did earlier. So, but what I could actually do is just to kind of show you, I'll switch accounts quickly just to show you how easy it is. So I am on my personal account, but the stories option remains the same. So I'm just going to hit this little blue plus button on my profile photo. Whoops. Hit the blue plus. And there I am. Hello. And then what I'll do here, and let me switch you around. I'm going to switch my camera, that way you don't have to look up my nose. All right, so if we wanted to take a picture here of whatever we want to put on our story, we can put it here, snap a picture, send it to our story. It can be as simple as that. If you see, I'm getting all these live story notifications on my phone because somebody I follow is going live. If I don't like that picture, something else I could do is actually go live right from Instagram. And if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a little fundraiser heart. So this is another feature that Instagram added in the wake of COVID-19 that allows people to raise awareness about a fundraiser within the story. So if that's something that you've got, you can utilize that button. So I could go live right from here, and I would just hit this button. It would count down and go live. I can hit create, where if I just wanted to type on this photo and add stickers to it, I could. I could, do a shout out to another user. I could upload something from here. So there's so many different options in the create section. So you can keep it kind of simple, but also ask for engagement, which is really cool. All right. So these are all the different options just through the create section. If I didn't want to use create, I could do a boomerang, which I showed you earlier, a layout if I wanted to, and you can change how many layouts. You could do super zoom, which is like a video that you take, and then it'll go through and change the way that it looks around the edge. Just all different effects that you've got to post to a story. So if I just take a picture, and notice that I can also upload a picture. So if I wanted to use this picture, I just pull it right from my phone. And I did that by just clicking on the button on the bottom left-hand side where there's like a little preview of an image. That's my image library. And all I have to do is just take a picture. So here's a video actually. You can take anything out of your library and make it a story. All right, so we'll upload this picture. And now if you see, there's room in my story because although this image was sized for Instagram, the story, it actually gives you a lot more space for an image. So what I like about using an image that's sized for Instagram is it gives me space above and below to kind of put my little hashtags and information in. So I'm actually gonna click and drag down here. And I'm going to click on this sticker button if you see it highlighted. And this is where you can really get a lot of engagement on your story. And I encourage you to ask questions or make sure that you tag a business. And if you see as I start typing, it'll pull up businesses that I follow or manage. So I'm just clicking and dragging with my finger. I know you can't see my finger. Pinching, zooming, and turning. And then if you tap, it'll change the look. Okay, so what I like to do is I always tag my business. I always add a hashtag, which you should always do. So I'll do social media, and see they're giving me suggestions, but I'm going to make it a little bit more localized and put social media Dayton. And I'm going to click and just position that right below there so that they're kind of stacked on top of each other. And then I'm going to hit my stickers one more time and say, I'll probably ask a question. And I'll say, what do you think of today's training? And then actually what will happen, which is really cool, is that when people respond, if they type in here, it'll actually come through to you as a direct message. And so you've opened that door to a conversation, which is really cool. You can also hit the letter text and type something and change your font. So I could just type hey and change it to modern. If you see, I'm just tapping up here. Of course, you can change the color, and then you can always click and drag and change the size. You can also swipe. I'm just swiping from the right side of my phone to the left and I'm adding different filters on here. If you've got a stylus, you can come in and just color if you want to write something, and you can change the color of the pen. So there's so many different things you can do. You can also add effects down here if you had like a video or something you really want to change the picture or add some sparkle to it. And then I hit done. So I know this looks like a hot mess, but I've added every feature that you could possibly add. All right, so then what I'm going to do is say I'm done. And then if you see down here on the bottom left, I've got the option to send this to just a close friends list that I've created on Instagram, or just to my story. All right, so I can hit send to, and it's going to say your story, or I can send it to other people that I'm connected to. So I'll hit send to your social status. And then if I head over here and go to your social status, see that notification comes in that I sent myself a video, and I can play it, and it's a personal story versus a story that was posted to my page. If I wanted to just post a story to my page, I would have hit the plus button, and just for the sake of time, let's say I added some stickers, I mentioned your social status, and I hit send to, and then I would just hit share on your story up here in the top right, and then hit done. And now you see I've got that ring around my picture. All right, and I'm getting all sorts of notifications because I'm mentioning my business in my story, my personal story, but you'll see the ring around it. And then of course you can view your own story. And when you come into your story, if you hit more in the bottom right, you're able to delete it as well, which I'm going to do. All right, so that takes us through. I'm actually gonna switch my screen back to Google Chrome here so I can hop back here, and I wanna make sure that we've covered everything that I wanted to cover with today's webinar. So let me just hop in here and make sure. All right, so I guess the last thing that I just want to make sure that I mention to you is hashtags. I know that a lot of people get a little bit nervous about hashtags. How do I use them? How do I find them? You know, all sorts of stuff. So there's a couple different resources that you can use to find hashtags. But I would say that the best thing that you can do for your business is think about if you were looking for your product or service. So let's use interior decorating, for example. So if you typed in, you're looking to find an interior decorator, what would you type into Google to find that person? You would probably type interior decorator and probably Dayton, Ohio, or Miamisburg, or Centerville, or whatever city you live in. So start thinking along those lines of how might people find you? And those keywords that you would type into Google are really your hashtags, because it's the same thing on Instagram. How do you want people to find your business? How would you search for yourself? And you come up with this list of keywords, and you start using them as your hashtags on every post. Then there's other options that come up if you're sharing a post that's about a specific thing. So for me, if I'm sharing something about Facebook specifically, like Facebook training, I not only would hashtag, social media Dayton, because that's what I do, but I would also do hashtag Facebook training, or Facebook 101 training, or Facebook how to. So there's so many different things that might describe what I'm sharing that are either localized to me and my business, or that pertain specifically to that post. So I wouldn't use hashtag Facebook training on every single post. If I'm posting about Twitter, obviously I wouldn't do hashtag Facebook. So kind of keep that in mind when you're creating hashtags and adding them to your post. So one last thing, make sure that you follow us on online. We're on just about every platform at Your Social SOCL. We skipped the IA. So at Your SOCL status, Your Social status. And you can always shoot us an email or a direct message if you have any questions at all. And let's see, I'm going to check the chat here. Oh, great question. So Linda said earlier, I mentioned links, and Instagram doesn't allow you to link to anything in your post, and that's correct. So no news articles, no websites, no third-party links whatsoever. The only workaround for that is if it's a retailer where you're selling something, or if you're running an ad. So the best way to get around links is if you start an ad on Facebook that shares it to both Facebook and Instagram. So in order to even get to that point, your Facebook and Instagram do have to be linked under the same business account. And then once you start running the ad, then you'll have the link show up. And if I pop back over to my phone quickly, I'll show you, let's see if I can share back over here. Share. All right, so if I pop up back over here, then you'll see that I can, let me go in here and see if I can find an ad or something for sale. Okay, so the booty challenge, Beachbody. Okay, so Beachbody, this is sponsored. Underneath the name, you can see that it's an ad. And then also you see the link for sign up. So if I click that, then it's gonna take me to the third-party website, but that's because it was a paid ad. So if that makes sense, but you can't just post any link. And then I got another question that says, how does the book work? Are you talking about like the book button on like a company page? If you are, the Book Now button is going to be linked to a third-party site. So I'll pop in, you're going to go to your settings and, whoops, I'm in the right account. Oh, here, hold on. Let me get back here. I'm sorry, you're going to go to Edit Profile. And you're going to go down to Action Buttons. And then you've got your gift cards, your order, or your donate. And then you can also pop back out here. And you've got your contact options. And you can add an action button. And depending on what third-party service that you use, you would just select it and connect it, and that's how they book. So that would be the Book Now. So you have to have an approved third-party already set up to be able to use the Book Now. All right, well, that wraps it up. If anybody has any other questions, please let me know. You could email, message us, and then I'll make sure that I get out the recording to you, as well as the slides and the little infographic that I uploaded earlier. Oh, and one last question. No, you do not have to use the book button. We got a question across asking if you have to use the book. You can enter as much or as little information as you want on your profile. So no, you do not have to use the book button. All right, well, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes, but thank you so much for joining me on today's webinar. It was great to have you, and I hope that you'll be joining us for a future webinar, and I'll make sure I get the recording out to you in an email shortly. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.